I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 132, Bomberman Hero. Released in 1998, this game was developed and published by Hudson Soft. This is our second Bomberman game of the challenge, with us having played Bomberman 64 all the way back at Game 62. While that was a game I remember fondly from my childhood, I'd never seen this one before. To me, Bomberman is a 2D multiplayer party game, but the N64 showed me it can also be a great 3D puzzle game. I enjoy both concepts, so I was pretty excited for this one. Plus, with Hudson Soft at the helm, I knew it would be great. They've given us classics like Getter Love and Center Court Tennis, some of my favorites from this challenge. Let's get into it. The game has a single player story mode, so that's what we'll be doing to beat this game. It opens with a cutscene to set the stage. It shows a series of planets when an evil planet starts sending bombs to the Primus star. A spaceship escapes, and I guess this woman's name is Princess Million. A bigger ship shows up and captures them. Princess Million gives the robot a disc and tells it to hide in the engine room. After that, it prompted me to select the first planet called Bomber. There were 3 areas within, then 5 levels within the first area. Guess I'll get started with Area 1, Battle Room. When I gained control, I immediately realized Bomberman can jump. What the heck, man? This feels so wrong. Along with that, the default way to use bombs is just to launch it like you're throwing a baseball. I mean, you can kick the bombs like normal, but why would I want to do that when I can just jump and throw it instead? Within the building was a bomber robot guy who said he was going to train me. An elevator led to the actual first level. I could see that robot in a window, so this is a training ground. One of the first things I ran into was whatever this thing is. Reminds me of a Beyblade's launcher. Then there was a big old chicken after that. Yep, this game is already way different from Bomberman 64. I was just trying to run around and get a feel for how the game works when some baby chickens came out of the wall and killed me. Nice. But yeah, this first level is mostly simple. Not much of a challenge to reach the end. The top left is my health, top right is my score, and the bottom left is my amount of crystals. The bottom right is how many bombs I can have, plus their firepower. I made it to the end without dying again, and it showed I had 4,150 out of 4,500 score. Then it gave me 4 clear points. Wasn't really sure what any of that meant at this point. Next level had these annoying sloped conveyors. It's tough to manage bombs while running against them. I started exploring along the sides of the level when I found a teleporter. I didn't think it was anything special, but it turned out the door in this area beat the level. I was real confused. It turns out certain levels have multiple ways to win, and this one led to an optional level called Secret Room. I won't talk about every single level because there's just so many of them in this game. This secret room had a big old fan in the center that launched me up to the sky. A nice vertical take on the level design in the game. Once I'd finished all 5 levels, I was told my training was complete and given a power gear. This lets me fly as well as move around underwater. Then I was told a UFO landed on the nearby mountain and I need to investigate. Into Area 2 now, the first level was filled with water everywhere. Can't touch it though because it damages you. I thought that guy said I could use my power gear in the water, what gives? There was also a big crab guarding the exit to this place. Of course, I have explosives which clearly outclass a crab blowing bubbles at me. When I went to the next level, Whole Lake, it showed a cutscene before starting. Bomberman was running down a tunnel when a propeller took the place of his feet, like a mermaid type thing. Oh, this is what the power gear does. This was a brand new type of level that took place entirely underwater. What's with these Easter Island statue things floating around here? The controls are a bit odd. You can move forward, backward, up or down, then turn to change your direction. Instead of normal bombs, Bomberman just kind of launches torpedoes that home in on enemies. It's very effective. I blew up a pillar and a weird retro life jacket thing popped out. This is the safety vest and it makes you immune to your own bomb blasts. Amazing to get this one. And it's a good thing I did find it, cause at the end of this level was the big kahuna, the head honcho, King Crab. I don't think that's a real name, but it sounds cool, right? To my surprise, there was a little crab hiding behind, except it wasn't a little crab. It was even bigger than the first crab. What a twist! The next level was one of those that had an alternate exit. It was guarded by massive bombs, but like, I can just blow them up with my own bombs. Not very secret if you ask me. This took me to the dark woods. The tree stumps here are haunted. Well, only some of them. I don't think there's a way to tell which one's gonna hurt you like that. Also, these red tornadoes are bad, but the white ones are good. Game's words, not mine. The level design is interesting in this. Like, this level takes place entirely in this tiny little area, while some other levels are gigantic. Now I'd found myself in a level with flying knives trying to attack me. Not to mention the constant boulders raining down from the sky. This place is crazy. Also, why is Geodude just chilling at the top of this mountain? You're in the wrong game, buddy. Oh my god, the end of this level has the King Geodude. Once I killed it, the level immediately ended. Now it was time for our first boss fight of the game, Nitros. He landed in a cutscene saying he is a soldier of the Garaden Empire. So when you fight this guy, it puts you in an arena that looks like you're in an alternate dimension or something. There's all these blue and green tiles on the ground. Nitros jumps to dodge your bomb when you throw it, and it makes him tough to hit. Although having the tier 4 firepower does make it easier. If he stops on one of the blue or green marked tiles, he'll send out crystals in the directions indicated by them. It's an easy fight. Once I'd hit him like 10 times or so, he was done. It plays a cutscene where that Piebot thing from the beginning of the game shows up. It introduces itself and says we must help Princess Million. The Primus star was invaded by the Garaden Empire. Then he gives us that disc they retrieved at the start, and we agree we'll help them out. Now it was on to Area 3. In the second level here, I died, and it said game over. I didn't realize this was even a thing. It just started me back on the same level though, which is what it does when you don't game over. I did lose my gem count, so I guess that's a punishment. One thing I think really needs to be mentioned in this game is the horrific draw distance. I mean, just look at that fog. It's ridiculous. We used to deal with this stuff back in the day. Oh my god. Nah, I'm just kidding. This level's called the Fog Route, so it's all intentional. I tricked you there, didn't I? The enemies here consisted of green machines and what appear to be monkeys on hoverboards or something like that. There is no shortage of a variety of enemies in this game. Nearly every level has unique ones. Into the first boss of this area now, we see Nitros holding Princess Million captive. Out of nowhere, this French robot named Endol shows up. Come on, you can just tell it's French. Look at that mustache. Nitros and Million teleport away, so I guess we gotta deal with this guy. I died almost immediately, so that kinda sucked. In the fight, Endol stands in the center with beams of electricity spinning around the room. Throwing a bomb at him deals damage, and it causes the direction of the electricity to swap. It's like that one minigame in Fall Guys. After hitting him enough, it transitions to Phase 2, where Endol walks around the area and occasionally shoots balls of electricity at you. Because he's so slow though, it's simple to just keep him stun-locked the entire time. This was an easy fight. It shows a cutscene with Piebot telling us he senses Princess Million had been taken to Primus Star. No time to waste, we'd better get there in a hurry. It shows some stats with how well you did on each level on the entire planet for finishing. 5 is the best you can get, and you do get something special if you get 5 in every level. I was surprised it took me to a bonus stage after the planet was over. This area looks like something you'd see in a debug room that the devs forgot to delete. It's just basic platforming for some additional gems and an extra life. Well, with that, it's time to head to the second planet, Primus. It has 3 areas just like the last one. I'll take this time to talk about the graphics and music. I think the graphics are good enough. You don't really expect anything crazy from a Bomberman game, you know? Clean textures and lots of color. It does lag a bit when multiple enemies are on the screen, which is a bit frustrating. The soundtrack for this game is absolutely fantastic. I don't know how you would describe the genre, but it's just all upbeat and happy sounding. This is definitely one of my favorite soundtracks on the entire console so far. All the songs are so good. I really like the idea in this first level on Primus. There's a freeze flower that required me to throw multiple bombs at once at it. When I did, the screen flashed white and the entire level was frozen. I think it's really cool when a level gets changed completely like this, but everything in it still works. That probably takes a lot of creativity. In the next level, I learned I apparently have horrible depth perception. Seriously, I hardly ever died before this, then I somehow died 4 times in this level? What is wrong with me? Then there was the waterways level. Surprisingly, this level has no music, just the tranquil sounds of water gushing along. Well, that and me raging because I didn't realize the water would push me off the cliff. Honestly, these jumps are so weird. It feels like sometimes the momentum pulls you the opposite direction you'd expect. After that, I went to Area 2 of Primus. I saw a cutscene of Princess Million being escorted on one of those hoverboards. Also, those flower arrangements sure look like the ones from Mario 64. There was this fake door here that looked freaky. I'm telling you, there are so many enemies in this game. I later made it to a secret level called the Warp Room. This one was a nightmare to navigate because it's just a bunch of tiny rooms with different portals taking you all over the place. There was a new power-up here. I'm not sure what it's called, but it made certain blocks incorporeal, and I could walk through them. Man, it wasn't until midway into the second world that I found remote bombs. They allow you to throw a bomb, then it doesn't explode until you tell it to. I consider this an iconic power-up of the Bomberman games, but it just doesn't have as much use here. It just shows how much they tried to change it up in this game. It's more of a platformer with bombs as an attack. After that level, I'd made it to the Primus Castle. There, we found Princess Million in a prison cell. Little did we know, Nitros was here to stop us. Time to kick this dude's butt again. We go to that same weird arena, and now there's these orange circle tiles on the ground. This allows Nitros to send out an explosive disc to home in on us. Everything else about the fight is the same. After dealing with him, it showed a cutscene with Bomberman returning to the prison. Piebot was on the ground and Princess Million was nowhere to be seen. Piebot says she was taken to the clock tower, and then it shows her being held captive by a rather large bird. Now we're into a new type of level, the Killer Gate. Here we get to use that flying aspect of the power gear we got at the start. When you use bombs, they drop down vertically. Where are those bombs coming from exactly? It's neat to have this flying ability, but I'll admit it's a bit boring. There's not all that much interesting you can do with it, because if you can hover and fly, it's how do you challenge the player? Once I'd killed all the bad dudes in the area, I was out of there. After climbing a couple vertical levels, it was time for the next main boss, Baruda. I like how in the dialogue of this part, Bomberman is just astounded that Baruda captured Princess Million to lure him here. Dude, obviously this is a trap, like come on. This boss utilizes the copter power, which is pretty cool. The fight is frustrating though because of how slowly you move, and how difficult it is to judge if your bomb will land on his head. I mostly just spammed bombs and hoped they would hit the mark, because I can't judge it with this perspective. After a while, Baruda got all fat and started sending these energy balls and trying to blast me with a laser gun on his stomach. The main problem with this fight though is there's a max height for the arena. The only way to damage him is dropping a bomb vertically down, so naturally you just keep ascending throughout the fight. Once you hit the invisible ceiling, you literally can't get above him. You gotta lure him back down, which takes forever. Despite all this, I did manage to kill him on the second try. It shows a cutscene with us landing in our spaceship with Piebot, and apparently Princess Million somehow ended up on Canadia Star. Wasn't she just on that clock earlier? The first level in this new world had me descending into a volcano. One of the info boxes from Piebot mentioned that if my life meter gets low, I should enter a cooling capsule. I never found anything like that in this level though, so I'm not sure what he was on about. Oh, it's in the next level. It gets so hot here that your health periodically decreases. There's an awful beeping noise letting you know it's happening too. That beeping is so loud. Annoying, but definitely effective. It does sound nice being able to refill your health when you run into one of these things, but it doesn't matter if you get knocked straight into the lava. I hate you, fire-breathing rock turtle. It was in this level that I finally understood the importance of not getting a game over. Yeah, you only lose your crystals when you do, but those are important. If you reach 200, you gain an additional life point permanently. Well, at least until you game over again. That's so nice to have. It's a 25% increase for the first one. There was a mini volcano at the end of this one, and I thought for sure there would be a secret inside, but nope, just took damage. Out of the volcano and into the, well, I think it's a cave, but it looks like we're snowboarding. This thing is very hard to control. Even after playing for quite a while, I still wasn't perfect at it. Plus, those guys on their hoverboard scooter things are here to ram into you, which is frustrating. Like, this is borderline enemy spam. The turning is so rough too. Reminds me of how much I struggled controlling the board in 1080 snowboarding. You do get one thing to help out though. Bomberman can jump into a 360, which kills the enemies somehow. Makes it much more manageable. We get a cutscene now where Bomberman is entering a large pyramid. However, he gets attacked from behind by a black spider robot thing. Then a cat girl shows up and says Bolbon will take care of us. So now we're inside the pyramid. Quite a change of scenery from that volcano. These Easter Island statue guys are a recurring enemy. A weird one to reappear in my opinion. It's getting more and more dangerous from here on out. The platforming will become tougher. Yet another new power-up a few levels later. Bomberman now gets surrounded by a bubble and floats slowly upward. Yeah, I know, real exciting. But hey, it is something new. That's not even the worst part about this level either. All the enemies here make a car alarm noise. Why in the world did the devs think this was a good idea? It's so freaking annoying. Definitely the worst level of the game so far. In the next level it ended without me even realizing. I threw a bomb to kill an enemy, but I guess I blew up the water tank on the wall as well. I wasn't trying to do that, but I guess I'll take it. This led to another water level, and this one's so cool. Right at the start there's this giant skeleton fish coming at you. It ate me and I thought I was dead. Oh, how wrong I was. It brought me to a new section of the level where I was inside the fish. Although I don't know where all this red stuff came from if it's a skeleton. I ended up dying and on my next go at it, I dodged the fish. I thought this was so cool how there's multiple paths to take you through this one. The fish returns and kept trying to eat me, but I ended up killing it, getting 2,000 points, the most I'd gotten from anything in the game. Now it was time for another bout with Nitros. Why does he have Princess Million in that position? This seems like torture, come on man. The fight changes up this time as now there are these electrical things giving Nitros a shield. I had to destroy those to even have the opportunity to damage him. Also, is it just me or do those green tiles look just like the original Xbox logo? I kicked his butt once again and surely we'll actually save the princess this time, right? Bomberman runs up to Princess Million to save her, but then she disappears. Oh my god, it was just a hologram. What a waste. Hey look, this next level had another new power-up. Bomberman has a glove that lets him throw bombs way further than before. How cool. This level had me moving on platforms on rails for what felt like ages. The levels are generally quick in this game, but this one was absolutely not. Boring. The new power-ups just kept coming in, as in the next level, I unlocked salt bombs. Why do we need these, you ask? Well, there's a slug enemy here that can't be killed by traditional explosives, so salt does the trick. It makes zero sense, but it's what you gotta do. After a few more levels, it was time for the boss. It's this big Sphinx dog thing, and it has missile launchers. This guy is Bolbon, who that cat girl was talking about before. Apparently he turned Piebot into stone. I didn't really like him anyway, so that's okay with me. This guy starts out easy enough. You just throw bombs at him to damage him like any other. After a few hits though, a satellite dish pops up on his back, and this shields him from attacks. Luckily for me, his tail is also a weak point, so I can just continue to damage him like normal. After more hits doing that, he starts stomping the ground, sending blocks raining down from the sky. It's an easy enough fight, just a bit time consuming. We get a cutscene showing Piebot going back to normal. Dang. And of course, Nitros took Princess Million once again. This time to the Mazone Star. Oh my god, how many times are we going to let this happen? Piebot informs us that this place has a lot of high places, so we're going to need help from Louie. Who the heck is that? Apparently it's this green bunny thing. So now we're riding on Louie, which is a giant turn of events. Guess it's not too wild compared to snowboarding. He jumps way higher and it feels awesome. There's these enemies that pop up out of the grass with the world's longest tongues. Freaky guys, I tell ya. Louie can also wall jump, and the controls are so bad. You have to jump into the wall, then press the direction away from the wall, then press the jump button. Why not just jump into the wall and then press the jump button like literally every other game I've ever played? Louie was gone in the next level. Can't believe we kicked him to the curb just like that. Another water level, this time with ice everywhere. Seriously, how are you supposed to dodge these things? They're so fast and I'm so slow. Plus, they're like 10 times bigger than me. Oh hey look, Louie came back in a later level. I really missed that guy. Good thing I have him because the signs are evil for some reason here. Louie makes quick work of them. The goal here is to kill all of these screw enemies. You do this by repeatedly jumping on them. Alright, I'm just gonna say it, the devs really screwed up here. Pun absolutely intended, by the way. These enemies should be nails. You bounce on them repeatedly as if you were hitting them with a hammer. Like, come on, it's so obvious. Oh shoot, yet another new upgrade for that power gear. Now Bomberman is flying with a jetpack. He can shoot missiles which don't lock on, as well as boost forward. I thought this was one of the harder levels, mostly due to the fact that I couldn't tell when an enemy was far enough past me to not get hit like this. Not to mention this two-headed green demon thing at the end. The heads kept regenerating too. It took forever to kill it. Oh hey look, Rainbow Road even made it into this game. I feel like the levels are just getting wilder looking as I went on. Now it's time to fight our old buddy Nitros yet again. He says they can't find the last disc and he thinks we stole it. We kinda did, but let's just fight over it instead. He's changed the rules yet again though. Now when you damage him, a line of bombs appear next to you, so you've got to move out of the way. There's also these new red ring tiles that launch fire up when he steps on them. He's still just as easy to beat as ever though. We get a cutscene showing Princess Million talking to us via a hologram. She informs us there are 3 more discs in this dome and we've got to get them at all costs. Alright, let's do it. This part of the game is pretty neat, I thought. All the levels in this area are warped to from the same hub area. The first is the air room. There were lots and lots of air vents launching me way into the sky here. Big old vertical climb, if you will. Then there was the 0G room. Hitting a switch lowered gravity drastically so I could launch myself up into the sky. It's yet another big old vertical climb. Then finally there's the mirror room. You can see yourself doing all the actions in the mirror at the back of the room. Upon reaching the end, there's a portal that lets you walk behind the mirror. Dude, I wanted to do that in Mario 64 so bad. It's like the same level, but now we're behind the glass. After beating all those levels, I had retrieved all of the discs. I gave them to Princess Million, and she was saying something about restoring Lord Bagular. Uh-oh, that's not Princess Million. It's that cat girl, Nadia. It's time to fight. This boss is so frustrating. You've got to fight both Nadia and the black spider thing at the same time. There's missiles being launched in all directions, and the eye on the robot shoots lasers at you. To damage the robot, you've got to hit it directly in the eye, which can be tricky. Once you've destroyed the robot, Nadia shows up on foot and tries to hit you with a whip. Oh my, cat girls with whips. What a game. I would have beaten this in just a couple tries, but I walked off the ledge like an idiot. It didn't take all that long to win though, and Nadia was dead. We get a cutscene where we finally make it to the real Princess Million and save her. But now we've got bigger problems. We've got to head to Garaden and defeat this Bagular fella. We then get a cutscene where Nitros is reviving Lord Bagular with all the discs. His brain is being held in some machine, but yeah, he's back. Bagular is talking to us over a screen and says he's revived all the bosses we fought before, except now they're going to be even harder. So first up it's Endol. This time though, the arena is filled with a bit of water. When he sends out electricity, it shocks the entire place. The only way to avoid it is with a well-timed jump. It's tough to do, but aside from that, the fight is the same. Next is Baruda. This time you aren't flying during the fight, so it's quite different. He has the same laser attacks, but now he can charge at you. It's really tough to dodge that, partially because of the camera. The third boss was unexpected though. Instead of the Sphinx dog thing, it's the spider robot that was with Nadia. Basically, he appears from under the lava in various spots and tries to shoot you with a laser. Sometimes it shoots missiles too, but it's a basic fight. Next, we get a cutscene with Bomberman and Nitros meeting each other on the bridge. They have their usual rival quips with each other, but no, we can't fight here. We've got to go to that weird arena thing. Now Nitros has every variation from all the previous fights, all at the same time. Most of these aren't a problem, but the shield definitely sucks. Still though, I've beat this guy like 5 times by this point. I know what I'm doing. He didn't stand a chance. We get yet another cutscene, and it seems we've knocked Nitros out of a trance. He says he's just a bomber trainee and he was brainwashed at Garaden. Nah man, why can't he just be evil? Why's there gotta be a redemption arc? Oh hey look, the next boss ended up being the Sphinx dog after all. Although now it's underwater. This fight sucks so much. You have to hit it in the head to damage it, but the torpedoes lock on and they're inconsistent at best. Not to mention the boss moves backward the entire time, making it take a long time for your torpedoes to hit. I died so many times here, way more than anywhere else in the game. I'd had enough, so I went back to the first level to farm gems to increase my HP. Thankfully, I learned that a long time ago. However, after about 5 minutes of that, I got bored, so I went and tried the boss again. This time I won, heck yeah. One more left between us and Bagula. We've got to fight Nadia again, and she's way different. She's wearing a different outfit, and she has clones. Tiny versions of that spider robot drop down throughout the fight, and she throws knives sometimes too. This fight is chaos, to say the least. Still, it's nowhere near as hard as the last one. Now it was time. The ultimate showdown with Bagula. We're in some bare bones metal arena where we have our usual main character, main villain, back and forth quips, you know. The fight starts out quite easy. Bagula just charges at you and you have a lot of time to dodge. Throwing a bomb at him deals damage like you'd expect. Aside from charging, he sometimes sends out blue energy in 3 lines, but it's also easy to dodge. After damaging him enough, he turns into a rainbow spiky thing. The rainbow thing merges with a nearby monitor and it's flying around like a drone. There's 3 of them in total and they send electricity at you. If you fought this guy in the past, I bet you remember the stupid laugh he does every few seconds. God, it's so annoying. The one that doesn't laugh is the real one, the others are fake. Once you've dealt sufficient damage to this phase, it moves to the 3rd phase. The monitor flies inside a big tank, and now it gets real. The other 2 phases weren't bad at all, but this one's a different story. So first of all, he's got a shield. Damaging him is not possible. He is constantly shooting missiles at you, and one of his arms shoots a laser in an arc at your feet. Dodging all these attacks is no joke. I didn't stand a chance, I got wrecked, and I also got a game over. Oh my god, I've got to go all the way back to phase 1, don't I? I knew I needed to get my HP up because this guy was rough. I had an interesting way to do it though. See, there's something I haven't told you about this game yet. Those ratings you get at the end of the stages, you need to get 5 in all of them to unlock a secret final world, as well as collect all the special ADOC bombs in each level. In regular levels, this basically just means collecting all the items and killing all the enemies. Sometimes there's a bit of room for error. Bosses are different though. Your score counts down rapidly the entire fight, and there's a goal score to get 5 points. Essentially, the boss has a speedrun timer. I decided I'd just get all rank 5s before killing Bagula because I wanted to 100% this game anyway. Funnily enough, anytime I needed to refill my HP, the easiest place to do it and to gather gems ended up being that snowboarding level. I played it so many times that I was a master at it. None of these were all that hard. The regular levels you can just take your time and hunt things down, and the bosses generally had fair goal times. So after quite a few hours and extra HP, it was time to take on Bagula once again. I had 8 health previously, but it turns out if you exit to the main menu, you lose all your bonus health. That's just such a stupid feature, why did they do that? The way you damage him is hitting the arms with bombs. Once they're destroyed, they fall off and the shield goes with it. Bagula goes into a frenzy where he's constantly firing missiles and he now shoots a laser beam. Thankfully, I made the goal time on my first try. I really didn't want to do that fight again. Bagula says we shouldn't let the victory go to our head though, and he's left a present for us. Ah, 3 massive bombs, how kind of you. We see Garaden blow up as we narrowly escape to our spaceship. There's a celebration being held back on planet Bomber. Princess Million thanks us and gives us some kind of medal. Then she kisses Bomberman right on the eye? What the heck was that? Piebot says he envies us, which, dang. Poor guy got friend-zoned. We see all the other bombers jumping at a 5 frame per second rate, and it says end. Then the credits play. We're not done yet, though. There's a bit of post-game content still to get to. The final secret world is called the Gothic Star, consisting of 3 levels. We get a cutscene with some guy with big wings, and he's upset Bagular lost. He calls himself Evil Bomber. Oh man, that dude is scary. The first level is one of those jetpack levels. A bit of the way in, I ran into a flying saucer. Oh my god, it's aliens. There were also these beams that moved way too fast. They didn't damage me, but they set off an alarm. I'm not really sure what it did though, because nothing happened. After blowing up a few more flying saucers, the level was over. That was quick. Next is the inner road. This is like a futuristic looking area, but there's nothing really special to this level. Quite a few big bombs lying along the path. I reached the end here quick as well. Man, these levels were a bit underwhelming. But now it was time for the final battle. I was taken to a dark area and saw the evil bomber flying around. These guys are apparently rivals, but I've never heard of him. He's upset we collected all those ADOC bombs. For the fight, he flies around and charges at you. It's pretty tough to hit him with bombs, mostly because of how small he is. Sometimes he'll shoot out fire and send spiky pinwheels too. I mean, I'll be honest, this fight is very underwhelming for being a true ending boss. Bagular was way cooler. It shows a cutscene with us flying in our ship and all our bomber friends along with Princess Million join us. We take over the Gothic Star and that's the end of that, I guess. It really feels like this final world was just thrown in at the last minute. That's not all though. When you beat the game completely, you can go to the options menu to find a few more extra things to do. One option is the Golden Bomber. We're given a gold chip that allows us to walk through water. Apparently there's a boss waiting for us in the Sea of Trees. Now you may be thinking you're in for a real treat here, but nah, not really. This is one of the underwater levels from earlier in the game, just they drained all the water. It'd be nice if it was a brand new level, but at least it's something. The gold bomber outfit does look pretty awesome though, I'll admit. Once you beat that, it takes you to yet another reused water level. The boss here is way easier when you can just run around to dodge everything. The third and final level is a bit cursed. There's these incredibly fast moving rainbow conveyors. It's so easy to just get sucked off the cliff before you even realize it. At least this one is a brand new level though. There's a big robot at the end, which I guess is the boss they were talking about earlier. I just kinda ran around throwing bombs until it was dead. It shows a very brief cutscene with Bomberman saying he completed the mission and he returns to base. Next up is the slider race. Some snowman bomb thing says we've got guts to challenge it, and now we're racing snowboard versus skis. There are so many of these yellow walls all over the place. Navigating the area is a nightmare. I thought I'd won on my second try, but nope, I found a way to choke. The snowman says it pities me, which that just hurts, man, come on. It probably took 5 or 6 tries to beat this guy, not too bad. Nothing really special happens when you do. The third and final thing you unlock is Million's treasure hunt. Piebot says their ship with all the treasures they stole from Garaden crashed, and Princess Million's precious treasures are scattered all throughout the galaxy. Wait, we stole their artifacts after invading? Are we the bad guys? So I didn't do this mode. It replaces those ADOC bombs with treasures in alternate locations, one in each level. I guess it's a reason for you to replay the game, but I didn't see much of a point. But yeah, that's about all there is for this one. Game complete. Wait a second. I bet even if you are familiar with this game, you didn't know about this last thing. This is something that resembles one of those fake cheat codes you hear about as a kid, except this time, it's real. So Hudson Soft made their own N64 controller that had a turbo functionality. In order to entice people to purchase their controller, they hid some secret levels in the game that are meant to only be accessed if you have it. There's no way for them to detect the controller itself, so what they did is they put a secret menu option, accessed by mashing the start button fast enough during the intro sequence. I believe it's somewhere between 10 to 12 button presses per second. Now, I'm decent at mashing, but this was hard for me. Like right now? When do you do it? I thought I was being trolled when they told me about this, like I didn't think it was real. Sure enough though, after a few minutes of trying, a new menu option saying bonus appeared. I had no idea what the heck this could be. When you press it, a brief cutscene plays where Bomberman is given a new mission to destroy the secret bomber star. He just says, okay. Wow, great dialogue. And after that, I was taken to a brand new level. I think this is pretty neat because these levels are quite large in comparison to even most of the levels in the regular game. The first one has a thin, winding purple path. This was the easiest of the new levels. The second level is a rather large vertical level with futuristic looking aesthetics. Again, they use a lot of these thin, windy paths here. The freaky door is even back. I hate that thing. One interesting thing with this level is the bottom definitely looks like it would kill you, but it actually just makes you bounce repeatedly. I really appreciated it because I think if I got a game over, I'd have to do the mashing again. Finally, there was this winding rainbow coil that felt quite out of place. These levels are awesome. The third and final level of this bonus section has a brand new enemy. I don't know why it had to be floating eyes though. They are unsettling to say the least. The best power-up ever, the bubble, makes a return in this level as well. Unfortunately, there was no boss at the end. The level just kind of ended out of nowhere. Although it would have been kind of lame to gatekeep a full boss behind buying their special controller. But yeah, now this time for real, game complete. So yeah, there you have it, my journey to beating Bomberman Hero. I had a lot of fun with this one. It felt nothing like Bomberman 64, but hey, they did a good job. It's essentially just a platformer, and I found it fun. The levels got a bit repetitive sometimes, but it was changed up enough to keep it from feeling boring. Most of the time, the bosses were killed by just spamming bombs, so I would have liked them to feel a bit more in-depth. I'd say this game is divisive among Bomberman fans, but I think it's worth playing for sure. The music is amazing, so there's that at least. It's got an insane amount of variety in the enemies, which is always cool too. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 4.5 out of 10 for difficulty. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Have a sneak peek at the next game. 258 games. 3, 2, 1, go. 23? What is that? We are playing Batman Beyond? I've never seen this on the list. These games just like get injected into the list. I didn't know the Batman was on here. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. It helps the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one.